Alright everybody, so we'll just take a rest here for a moment beside the shorelines of Moline Lake. Now I just want you to take a moment and look around at the forest that we have here today. You can see it's pretty green, pretty lush. Now I want you to imagine that you're one of these trees that you see around us. How do you feel if you were a tree?
Tall. Oh. Mighty. Strong.
Alright, well I want you to imagine that you're something much smaller now. Something that's actually been infesting a lot of the trees here in Jasper. A beetle. How would you feel if you were a beetle?
Small. Vulnerable. Weak. Yeah.
Well, you shouldn't, because although only the size of a grain of rice, the mountain pine beetle has been able to chew its way through our Jasper forests in a significant way, and we as humans are actually partially to blame. So I do want you to look across the bay again and look that you can actually see some of the trees here have started to turn red. So these trees have actually been infested by the mountain pine beetle. Now I do have two photographs here that show this effect that we've had here in Jasper with the pine beetle. So this first photo was taken in 2014, so 5 years ago. So I'll pass that around. You'll see the forest is very green looking. And this second photo here is taken in 2019, so just 5 years later. And in this photograph, you'll see around 80% of the pine trees have been infested and turned red by the effect of the mountain pine beetle. Now I told you that these beetles are small. So how do they actually compare in size to the lodgepole pines that they're infesting? Well, we have a lodgepole pine here beside us here today, and the average lodgepole pine is around 2,000 kilograms in size. And the average mountain pine beetle, I told you, is only the size of a grain of rice. So I do have a larger photo of what the beetle actually looks like, but then I do have a few pieces of rice here for you guys to actually see their true size. So the pine beetle itself, one beetle weighs around 0.013 grams, but it does take, of course, more than one beetle to infest such a large pine tree. So around 500 beetles are infesting this tree, which is around 6.5 grams of beetle. So that actually means that these beetles are able to successfully infest a lodgepole pine that is around 300,000 times its weight. So how are they actually so successful at doing this? Well, there's two main things. One of the first thing is a female mountain pine beetle finds an appropriate lodgepole pine, and then she emits a pheromone. And this results in many mountain pine beetles coming to the same tree, much like we would use a perfume or cologne to attract people to us. Now all these hundreds of beetles start chewing their way and biting their way to the inside of the tree to access the inner side to lay their eggs and larvae. And also as they're chewing and entering the tree, they're also releasing a fungus with them as well. This fungus allows their larvae to survive and be able to eat the tree, and it also results in what is killing the tree itself. So it does prevent nutrient flow from happening in the lodgepole pine anymore, and eventually does result in the tree turning red. Another interesting effect with the fungus is that it actually stains the wood blue as well. So I do have a little sample of lodgepole pine wood here. You can see the outer edge of this sample has a blue discoloration, so you can take a look at that. So that's how they're effectively killing these trees. Now the mountain pine beetle is actually native to Jasper National Park, so why are we having such a bad effect of it today versus in previous time? Well, that's sort of where human intervention has come into play, and one of the main reasons that we've had an effect with this is from fire suppression. So for a very long time, we thought that forest fires were bad, and we suppressed them. We prevented them from happening in this area. And this resulted in two things occurring. One of them is that now our trees are very old. And typically with many things, when they get older, they're more susceptible to disease, or in this case, beetle infestation, and they're just generally weaker. Another thing that has happened is that our forest has become very homogeneous, meaning that it's predominantly made of lodgepole pines. And the lodgepole pine is one of the preferred trees of the mountain pine beetle. So here in Jasper, it's essentially like these beetles have an all-you-can-eat buffet. So although these beetles are much smaller than the trees that they are infesting, they're very successful at doing it with their adaptations. And although a lot of the trees unfortunately are being affected by the mountain pine beetle, it's not all bad because it is actually opening up a different ecosystem and different habitats for other types of wildlife, such as insects and woodpeckers. So let's carry on and we'll continue hiking down the shore.